The United States of America, land of the free and home of the brave. Many say it's the greatest country in the world, and its influence is undeniable. But there is a growing support for a theory that suggests the country has a dark secret. A secret that could completely change the course of humanity. The average person goes through their daily routine without giving thought as to the people in charge of their lives. They assume that the members of the U.S. government are people just like them, acting in the best interest of the country. This is a fallacy. Do you know the truth about who is really running this country? There's an overwhelming amount of evidence suggesting that the leaders of the United States are not humans at all, but are actually lizard people. 12 million Americans now believe that the country is ruled by an ancient race of shape-shifting lizard people called reptilians, with an agenda to establish the human race as mindless and robotic slaves. The vast amount of supporters is partially due to the numerous sightings of shape-shifting and facial anomalies in the members of Congress on television. The issue has been made even more prominent in the public's eye recently because of the controversial new legislation which will, if passed, make asking a congressman if he or she is a lizard illegal. The bill is entitled Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and has been deemed a violation against free speech by many. Since the bill was introduced by Senator John McCain last year, it has already made its way through the committees, including the National Committee of Reptilian Americans, or NRA, and onto the floor where it was voted on and is waiting approval of Speaker of the House, Matthew Schatz. With Speaker Schatz being a huge supporter of the bill, it is almost certain to go through the House and onto the Senate. I got exclusive permission for an interview with Speaker Schatz to discuss his decision on whether or not to approve the legislation. Hello, I am Tyler Thomas, and I'm in front of the home of Matthew Schatz, Speaker of the House and Leader of the House of Representatives. I'm here to discuss the controversial bill, Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which, if put into place, will make it illegal for people to ask Congressman if he or she is a lizard.
Action.
Hello, Speaker Schatz.
Who the hell are you guys?
We're here to discuss the new Don't Ask, Don't Tell bill today.
Right, of course. 1 second.
Okay.
Come in, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for seeing me today.
Thanks for coming.
How did you feel when the Don't Ask, Don't Tell bill was presented to you by the Standing Committee on Lizards?
I was very glad to see such a bill make it through Congress because, after all, these conspiracies are really getting out of hand. And, of course, my fellow congressmen aren't lizard people, and our time is much too valuable to be wasted on such allegations. The bill will be engrossed tomorrow, and I will sign it immediately after the final vote and send it to the Senate by early next week.
Okay, very good. All the bills that are pigeonholed by the committees of the House, why do you think it's this bill that has made it so far in the process?
It surprised me a little that no markups were submitted with the bill, and there was no need for a discharge petition, because we really need to put a halt to these conspiracies as soon as possible.
Okay. Do you have any comment on the rider provision that all birds should be made illegal?
Well, the committee chair for the Standing Committee on Lizards thought this to be an unnecessary provision, considering we are not, in fact, lizards and remain rather unaffected by the bird population, therefore.
Couldn't agree more. Is it a possibility in your mind that the bill could see some veto action?
I believe the President will support our expertise and avoid the use of any veto or pocket veto like.
Okay. Do you believe that this bill is a pork barrel for the lizard American population?
Well, that's a rather foolish question to ask, considering lizard people do not exist, as I've already stated.
Oh, okay. Well, some would entertain the idea that that is exactly what a lizard person would say. Are you, in fact, a lizard? Is that what I'm hearing?
Excuse me, I need to use the restroom.
Okay. Man, it sure has been a while that he's been up there. You want to go see what he's doing?
Yeah, let's go.
What is he doing in there?
Oh my god. What? He's coming.
Now, since the legislation is sure to be approved, it will move on to the Senate. The Senate is a whole nother beast compared to the House. Where the House is very large and specialized, the Senate is much smaller and more generalized, making their decisions more careful and time-consuming. It is also possible for the Senate to use a filibuster and delay the passing of the bill indefinitely. However, many experts on reptilians believe that the Senate is made up of exclusively lizard people, whereas the House is made up of a mixture of humans and lizard people. This means that if the bill is passed so easily through the House, it will probably be passed through the Senate in no time. If not, the President pro tempore of the Senate, Lenny the Lizard, in absence of the Vice President, has stated that he will set up a conference committee to compromise provisions of the bill with the House. Congress hopes the President will sign the bill into law quickly, so they, as Speaker Schott stated, would no longer have to deal with the inferior human race.